Good evening and welcome to a scene for London Ascending. Deanne has requested to meet with Camilla, and Camilla has said she is welcome to come to 34 Tite Street. So the scene begins with Deanne arriving at the location.
Yeah, Deanne will have made sure that she looks at least, presentable. She's usually not very careful about her appearance, but now she's taken the extra effort. She she'll walk in, look around to see if she recognizes anyone really.
There's a sort of like a young woman who you presume to be a ghoul, who answers the door to you and lets you into like a drawing room. It's sort of quite Victorian-esque, big oak desk to it, and sat behind the desk is Camilla, who stands when you come in.
Deanne will kind of let her eyes glide through the room, taking in where the windows are, where extra exits are, and stuff like that. She usually does that. And will then walk over to Camilla.
Mm-hmm.
And will extend a hand.
Camilla takes your hand in her gloved. She's got sort of like dark navy gloves on with this suit, and she says, "Deanne, welcome."
Camilla, it's a pleasure to be here.
Please take a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
She'll sit down. Making yourself comfortable is not going to work. You can see that the gangrel is much out of her element here, but she'll sit down, cross her legs, let her hands kind of rest on her upper legs. She's just looking around. Is this a nice place?
Thank you very much. It's a good place for socialising. I try to keep it open to all kindred of the court to come and socialise in, if they so wish.
It's good to have a place where one can go to if you need a quiet talk.
I do not extend the Elysium rules here, despite Lord trying. This is my house, so I will keep it as I see fit.
To be honest, I wouldn't like my house to be made into an Elysium either. So, yeah, I can respect that.
She smiles. So, you had something you wish to speak to me about?
Well, not necessarily something. It's more that I think with the both of us being in a hound position, I think it would be time to get to know one another a little better, see where we stand and what use we have of each other. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Claire nods. I'm not a prejudiced woman, Deanne. I do not care what clan somebody comes from or what background they have. As long as they follow the rules of our court and of our queen, then their personal relationships are of little consequence to me.
That makes you uniquely intolerable. That was my bad English. Sorry, not something that Deanne would say. Apologies.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, that makes you uniquely tolerable. That's what I wanted to say. In the city, with everybody being so. I'm almost inclined to say on edge lately.
Kind of nods. She sort of looks Deanne, not like up and down in a kind of sexual way, but in a sort of assessing way. more or less. And she says there are members of my clan who, for example, will not associate with any of the low clans, including the Nosferatu. I've had thoughts recently that the Nosferatu would be a good asset to our investigations as hounds.
I think in a city, especially one so big as London, you would need to be a very poor kindred, and I mean in the sense of behavior and all, to not be an asset in some way or form. I mean, armies require all sorts of things, as do courts. You even need people to clean the armor, so to speak. So when it comes to one's worth, like I said, I think everybody can have their place. Unless, of course, your behavior is exceptionally stupid.
Of course, you understand, and I will not lie to you, that I did not approve of the Queen's decision for you to mentor Sebastian.
Neither did I.
I will
In
not
fact,
be of two faces to you and say I approve to you when I do not. I believe that it is our clan's responsibility to correct him and nobody else's.
well, would it surprise you to say that when the Queen gave me her orders, I even advised her to appoint you as his mentor?
It would surprise me, yes.
Well, I can assure you that that was the case. I am not someone who is very known for keeping her thoughts to herself.
She smiles a bit.
The Queen thought this was a fitting punishment for my behavior, and Sebastian apparently wanted it very much, which I would say is even more of a reason not to send him to me for tutelage. However, once a task is done or is given, I can assure you that I will fulfill it to my best ability.
She nods. Sort of seeming to think things over a little.
But it's a relief that he's gone. I will not lie about this.
Sebastian is a child. He's young, and he was given too much responsibility for someone young of mindset. I've made a similar mistake in my life, and so I cannot judge for it. But he would be an incredible to our society when he's had his proper training. It's just the kind of lifestyle he had before he was embraced was not one with many limits. My own charter was similar, so I know how willful and misinformed they can be.
I was very lucky with my sire. And with my child, to be honest. And I'm very proud of them.
She nods.
As far as Sebastian, I understood that the pup was a seneschal before Garnet, before I came into the city. In a city like this, to be fair, I would doubt anyone's judgment, but it is not my place. I hope he will. I hope he will receive a better education now. However, I do fear for him. He is very influential, but also very easy to be influenced. That's the reason why I decided to take him away from the situation where he was in.
The gangrel have chosen to leave the Camarilla, which I have had discussions with several members of the clan about since their choice. I respect their choice, but as I've said previously, my only stipulation for anybody is that they follow the rules. As long as the rules are followed. She just sort of gives us like no fucks given expression.
You'll see Diane kind of pressing her lips tightly together as the mention of the gangrel leaving Camarilla has been brought up yet again. She'll have like this one slight twitch just right above her eyebrow. This discussion about the gangrel leaving Camarilla has been thrown in our face multiple times in this city. That is not very helpful if you want to keep the three of us here. We have all willingly chosen to stay here and to serve the Queen. To keep hearing that we are nothing because the rest of our clan left is insulting. And it's insulting of all the efforts that we went through and the bridges that we burned behind us in order to stay here. The fact that the clan left the Camarilla and we chose to stay should be commended, not punished. But that's my opinion as a gangrel, and I understand that not a whole lot of these people will see it this way.
Any weakness that is perceived to be had by a person will be used time and time again by those thirsty of ambition.
It's not a weakness, it's a strength.
Well, it's a political weakness. It gives you less standing in the eyes of some in the court, and the same as the Salazar sisters and other members of the independent clans. The fact of the matter is that the Queen has accepted you, and that is all that is important to me personally. If I was to question you or interrogate you, or I try not to insult others, as I feel it's a futile effort. If I was to send any of my ire your way, it would not be due to your clan's actions, it would be due to your personal actions.
That's very much how we would prefer it to be. And may I say likewise.
The last thing I want in the environment of a war is tensions and squabbling in the court. It's not good for the Queen, it's not good for our morale, and it's not good for anyone who might try and find their way in and whisper their lies. I've heard of people turning traitor after being convinced, not saying that for a moment that any of the gangrel would do so, but sometimes the grass is greener, or at least it appears to be.
This is indeed true. As I said, leaving the Camarilla is an option that we already burned behind us. We more than anyone have decided to stay here. It strengthens our resolve. Sabat is running around in the city.
Is it true that the rumours I hear that you are seeking the position of sheriff?
I don't know who spread those rumors around. I didn't even want to be hound in the first place. I know how I act, and I prefer to act in a more independent form. Still serving the Camarilla, of course. I have no desire for the sheriff position. I've heard you had, though.
I'm going to make a peony on that. I know it's out of character that she's not lying, but
What? That would be interesting.
no, I got 2 tens. Yeah, 2 successes.
She's not lying.
Cooler nods. The Queen called me here for a purpose. And that purpose is not entirely revealed to me. If she so wishes for me to be the sheriff of this city, I will do so. But I will protect it regardless. It is a title. It gives me powers to uphold certain laws, enforce certain laws. But I respect our current sheriff. He's an honourable man.
Yes. I do worry, though. The mission that we were on together alongside with others, such as the Keeper or the Seneschal, should have been a sheriff present. The fact that the Keeper decides certain things using his title to do so in the field should not. If he would be strong in the field, he would have been made either Hound Sheriff or Scourge. He was made Keeper. He has nothing to say when it comes to the business. And if he wants to help, he can, as a member of the Camarilla, not as the Keeper. He has power in Elysium, not somewhere underground after we just had a fight with Sabbat, and they might still be running around.
It's important that we either make sure that the current sheriff takes part in our next excursion, or we, if he no longer wishes the role, put someone in place who will keep order.
Exactly. I very much like the sheriff. He is of a similar mindset. Because of that, I know that he has no desire to be what he is right now. And it's up to us to show that you are competent enough to take over the job. One thing, and I will make this clear, and I will not lie about this. I do not desire the position of sheriff. If, however, I have the feeling, if should it be offered, that there is no one else at that point able to step up, I will take it. It's not a threat. I don't mean to threaten you, because whether you become sheriff or someone else, we will still have to work together as hounds, and I prefer to have a good working relationship with hounds. But to me, most important is not the political squabble that comes with the title, but it's keeping the city safe and protected, and keeping, well, the spots out of our tunnels at least.
It will not be the first city that I have performed sheriff's duties in, nor will I doubt it will be the last, if the position becomes mine.
You have the credentials, and what I've seen from you so far, it's not bad. It's not outstanding, though, either. But I guess the same can be said about everyone in the city at this point, including myself.
There's sort of a creaking of leather as she arches her fingers together when you say that. It doesn't seem to annoy her or displease her in any way. She just looks kind of thoughtful. What do you suggest? I hear there was I've been meaning to go and see Laura about something. She said there was a attack.
Hmm. She spoke too eagerly. I've told her to inform the Queen, but the Seneschal wants to keep it silent. However, I think as hounds we should know. The Harpy Laura and myself had a conversation outside when we ran into not ran, more like they ran into us, into a police raid of a bookstore. We noticed that there was Kindred's activity going on. We found a ghoul belonging to the Queen with the police force, and underground there was underground in the bookstore there was a attic. No, that's just sorry, a basement. Wow, that was filled with occult symbols, and behind a curtain we found a La Sombra and two ghouls.
Out of character, laughing character, I think. Just the idea about that. Behind the curtain, there was a little sombra.
Behind the curtain, we have to go.
Did
it? We fought him, but
yeah.
we didn't manage to defeat him. He had to run, killed his two ghouls, but not much. We pursued him, however, we had to stop at some point because he ran into a area with the kind in there. And us looking the way we were, bloodied, and me with my claws out and everything, would have made a bigger masquerade breach than he should he have tried it. So we had to let him go at that point.
Can I ask for a description which you give me and I write down? I'll watch the scene.
Sure. As far as she gives a description, she mainly saw his head, and I don't think Jesse gave a good description in the scene. So it's a male and it's a head, and it was laughing.
You can describe his head, sort of, and then maybe.
Yeah.
Camilla writes it down, and she says, "I do believe that there'll be some new information coming to light via announcement about from the interrogation of the Sabat we captured during that combat."
Yes. Well, let's hope something comes out that's useful. Other than that,
it's not the first time that the Sabat have tried to take over areas of London.
That doesn't mean that
managed it.
No, but that doesn't mean that we can just sit back and be like, oh, they never did it before, so they probably won't do it now. Because that's exactly the attitude that does get us into trouble.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of traitors in the midst.
Yeah, that worries me.
Well, there's one, there's usually more. So I think we should be very careful about what gets said in Elysiums and places where Elysiums are held.
Yes.
I will speak to them. I want to speak to the Nosferatu. Perhaps you will accompany me. If anyone knows anything, it's usually the Nosferatu.
And although I've sent my rats into the sewers as well, they know it better than, well, anyone really. And I have the feeling that that's where they keep hold. Like, I mean, there was our big fight with them in the underground. But then this one also ran through a secret passageway and ended up in the sewers. So I have a feeling, if anywhere, they're in the underground in the tunnels.
Maserati domain, I very much doubt they're very happy about that.
Exactly.
So they may be inclined to help us, though I'm sure at a price.
It would be nice. If you would wish my company, I will gladly assist you.
You're a hound, so we will go together.
Very well.
She nods.
I'm worried about the city, to be honest. I have the
I
feeling.
realize asking a gangrel not to speak their mind is a little bit like asking a toreador not to admire a painting.
If you want a gangrel that chooses his birth carefully, you'll have to have a talk with my sire at some point.
However, I would caution you to be
More careful
not
with my words.
not necessarily just more careful about how you use your words. Discourse is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing to express your opinions. This is not a democracy of yes men. We're all elders. We're all leaders of a city.
Yes.
But there are, as we get older, we play more connived games with one another. I've seen plenty of people fall afoul of these games in my time.
I've never been so submerged into the politics of a city. I've preferred to keep my head low and my claws sharp, so to speak. But the thing that troubles me, and I will speak bluntly here, is that I notice that, especially amongst the elders, there is no respect. Hence probably why I will not give it. There seems to be a culture among some of the kindreds that resolves very much about what they can do and how they are of higher status. And although they are not wrong, it is unwise to just run around screaming that you are in charge and that everybody should mostly shut up because you're the one speaking and that can't have an opinion, because those opinions you can learn from. It is one of the most important things about being a leader is knowing when to let someone speak and when to take harsh decisions. I have a feeling there aren't many in the city who know. Maybe saying these words will get me looked down on. I've heard the rumors, just as well as you have probably, about me behaving like an anarch.
I do not deal in rumours. I'm not a harpy.
No, but they get hurt. Whether you decide to speak of them, even if you decide to not let them guide your actions, they still enter your ears and into your head.
I hold everyone to the same standard. I hold you to the same standard that I hold my clanmates and we went through anyone else in the court. You behave, you follow the traditions, you follow the etiquette, you respect the officers of the court, And you and I will never cross swords.
And have I ever disrespected anyone? Besides at the point where I had to, because two of our most esteemed elders of the city tried to walk away into, at that point, hostile territory, carrying a prisoner. That's the only time I've been disrespectful, and I will happily admit it. I needed them to stop, and at that point that was the first that came to mind. It might have been the best, I will agree to that, but it was the first thing. If that would have been an ambush, we would have lost the Seneschal keeper and the prisoner.
She nods. Choosing not to pass her opinion on it, but listening to Deanne's. I will contact you in the next couple of nights when I can arrange a meeting with the Nosferatu Primogen.
Very well. I do thank you for this meeting.
She sort of not bows exactly, but nods her head in a sort of bowing fashion.
Diane will stand up and reach out again for the hand.
She takes her hand, shakes it.
And she'll shake it as well. If you prove yourself, I will make sure I'll have your back. And Diane will turn around and will walk out.
Camilla sits back down at her desk and begins to draft the letter for the Nosferatu Primogen. And that will be the moment that we end the scene. Thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching. Till next time.